In this unequal battle, my fortune is not to lose, and your misfortune is not to win.
It's an interesting story because it's the decadence of aristocracy in France at the time, and the games that they played with each other and how they destroyed each other's reputations in order to gain power and a higher standing in the society. But at the same time, it's also an interesting description of how ego and greed can corrupt the mind, and how it can destroy everyone who comes near it.
Dear Valmont, your letter is remarkably insolent. You are clearly out of your mind.
Valmont and Merteuil are the two main protagonists, and they are very hungry for power, and they go about destroying other people's reputations to gain that power.
They've got this game that they've always had where, you know, she's basically the female version of him, where she wants to go out and just ruin as many lives as possible just to have an image of herself, you know, and it's a game between the two of them.
You must seduce his young virgin, Cécile, before the wedding.
Cécile, she's a 15-year-old girl.
She goes through all this turmoil and all this experience sexually with an older man and finding her lover, and gets very confused, and in the end, poor thing is pretty much ripped apart and left with nothing.
He conquers one lady who he ends up falling in love with, and it changes his whole perspective, you know, of things, but it's too late for him to change anything.
Through a dark wall in the far distance appears an entire set decor that describes, you know, the periods of the 1700s, like a palace. And within that palace, all the characters appear in period dresses, like Marie Antoinette with the dresses, and words are whispered through the music.
That young Danceny is mad for her.
It describes the story in intricate detail, which then liberates the ballet, because then we can dance. It's like the dancers become the inner turmoil of the actors.
I'm more the modern day Cécile, and Tara herself is in the theater set back in the 17th century.
It's nice for the audience to try and understand what's going on through the dance, and if they don't catch everything, maybe they can try and grasp it from the theater.
It's really different having another energy to help you behind you on stage as well.
I know the Valmont dancing as well as Kelly knows the Valmont acting, so for the two of us to do it together and know what the other side is meant to be portraying makes it very, very interesting to do. And within about 15-20 minutes it all gets quite steamy. There's a lot that happens.
So desirable. She agreed to let me use her as a desk on which to write a letter to my devoted beauty.
There's a lot of very erotic content, and I think that ballet as an art form is one of the best to develop erotic themes, because we have these beautiful spiritual athletes.
You're not the sugar plum fairy anymore, and you're not dancing with these young kids, and you're trying to portray the story of betrayal, love, and deceit.
It's not hushed and quiet and down, it's pretty real.
In your face.
It's pretty real, yeah. So it's, yeah, it starts pretty quick, really. Yeah, you know, it's good fun.
It's physical,
it's
and it's good fun, yeah.
It's, you know, it's great.
It's quite dramatic, but you go from one extreme to the next for sure in this ballet.
If you come to watch the ballet, you will definitely, you know, be part of it.
It's one of those ballets that treats its audience with intelligence, and that for anyone who likes to go to the theater to be challenged and to be inspired, this is the ballet they should see.
Who wouldn't shudder at the thought of all these disasters caused by one single dangerous liaison?